Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. It is time for Arsenal news. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. We're going to be discussing a couple of Arsenal stories moving around and making news at the moment. Spence Vlahovic back in the news, always around there, always in the news for Arsenal. But of course, we have bigger updates around Pablo Mari, around Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, around Arthur Melo as well, and the possibility that Arsenal could actually move on to trying to sign other players like Yves Bissouma if that deal actually can't go through. So we're going to be looking at all the stories around the club. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Mikel Arteta has been speaking to the media ahead of that Liverpool clash, and it looks like it's going to be going on. It's going to be moving going ahead as scheduled. There was a couple of fears that that it might actually get called off because of COVID and things like that. But it looks like it's going to be held tomorrow. The second leg, of course, the first leg ending 0-0. I think Arsenal really did very well in that game. So probably the second leg, we'll have our preview today and then the match press conference and see what exactly is the squad that's going to play, who is available. A couple of players are really back and are available as compared to the last game where we really had a very, we had a very narrow squad. I think this time we'll have more players, but of course more of that we will discuss in the preview and confirm team news show as we look ahead of ahead into that game. Right, in this one, let's start off with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Arsenal have been have received an offer to a loan deal with an obligation for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and the club is not new. It's again Al Nassr. That's the club that are much interested. According to Charles Watch 6 minutes ago, they're saying Arsenal have received an offer for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from Al Nassr, as reported by James Bank from CBS Sport. So they're saying that loan for the rest of the season, with an obligation to buy around £7 million. Arsenal are yet to respond to the offer. Right, so look, I just felt like we need to start with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang because I didn't get time to speak about him yesterday, and I really don't want to do a whole video about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and why I think his career is becoming a mess, not only at Arsenal. And I think this is what is interesting with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, is that we thought it was Mikel Arteta, we thought it was Arsenal, and we thought this is bad and things like that. But him and Lemina, they were let go by the Gabon national team early in AFCON, and the reason is not anywhere close to medical situations. It is very highly likely that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's indiscipline actually cost him a place in the African Cup of Nations. Of course, we know he tested positive twice on arrival, with the Gabon team, and also after some time, after the period he was given to self-isolate, then he was also still found positive. But according to the Athletic, the real reason as to why Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was actually kicked out of Gabon, of the Gabon national team, was actually because of indiscipline. That is the reason. Of course, Arsenal are expecting him very soon, together with Thomas Partey. Partey, of course, we'll talk about him, but of course, the reason that's why Partey is coming back is absolutely very different from what Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is actually going through. So an offer has been made by Al Nassr and received by Arsenal. However, there is no response yet. There is no answer from Arsenal. Now, this is a very difficult one. This is a very interesting one because the player himself doesn't want to go out of Europe. His priority is to stay in and around Europe. He wants to be around, these big boys, these big clubs, around there. Juve. There's been kind of interest from Juve. There's been kind of interest from Barcelona, PSG as well. But his wages are proven to be a big problem. Now, I think in terms of Arsenal, because look, players like Sid Kolasinac have left this club due to mutual consent, terminating their contracts. I don't think Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang wants that. I think it's a very, very good opportunity. One, Arsenal need him as far away from the from the squad as possible. That much we know. Mikel Arteta has already said he can't do the basics, and I think the picture has become uglier than it was before he left for AFCON. Because when he left for AFCON, yes, he had violated the rules. He had been stripped of his captaincy. But then you felt like he has a chance. There is a chance if he goes to AFCON, maybe does well with Gabon, even if he didn't do well with Gabon. But then you just feel like that kind of 30-day period, that kind of 40-day period, it's just going to create a kind of atmosphere where Arsenal, maybe Mikel Arteta and the people involved at the club could just forget and say, right, look, let's be a little bit relaxed with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. After all, he didn't kill someone. But going to AFCON, for me, it was his chance. It was absolutely his chance. What does he do? He's blown it. He has absolutely buttered it 100%. There is no way. Now, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang says Mikel Arteta is the problem. There is no way he's going to say Arsenal are the problem. Because you've gone to Gabon, you're the captain there, you're a very, very important player. And because you know how much AFCON 2022 is, not really AFCON 2022, but because you know how much AFCON is valued down in Africa. It's the biggest tournament. You can't bottle the biggest tournament for your country by showcasing indiscipline. Captain. And I think, look, I think Gabon, the next step, I won't be surprised. Gabon, the next step they will take is to strip him of his captaincy. I mean, that is what should be done. So Aubameyang is coming back. That much we know. I really doubt he's really going to get involved anymore with us. No, we've had that from Sky. We've had that from a couple of outlets, ESPN and a couple of others, especially ESPN's James Ole, who's been very, very vocal on the stand of Arsenal, on Arsenal's stand, and Mikel Arteta's stand on Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and the situation. He's not going to be playing for Arsenal ever again. Probably that is what we expect. So Al Nassr are providing. I think this is a small window. This is a very, very tiny window that Arsenal should use to escape. I mean, it's time for escape now. I've always defended Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and I'll always defend him as a player because I just believe, he might have gone through things like, mental health and things like that. I'm not really even sure because, you see, I'm really trying so hard to anticipate what will happen to him. But the truth is, Aubameyang needs to go. That's it. Yeah, Aubameyang needs to go. So £7 million at the end of the season, with wages taken off the books. I think that is what Arsenal will be looking at. And that's what we've done ever since Edward Mikel Arteta started partnering in that role of who comes in and who gets out. How do we balance the books? How do we try to keep the books really, really positive in this very, very difficult financial time of COVID-19 and things like that? And I think honestly, they've done it very well. They've really, really done it very well. You look at the likes of Kolasinac, Xhaka, that was a blow. That was a blunder. I know when Mikel and Edu look at themselves, they're like, okay, we blowed this one. This was a bottle. We bottled this one. Xhaka should never have got another contract. Yeah, but if you look at if you leave Xhaka, the likes of Kolasinac leaving the club, I think they've done well in terms of clearing out Deadwood. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is a part of the Deadwood problem. I'm sorry to say, but definitely yes. At the moment, he's part of that Deadwood problem, right? He's part of it. Glenn says, I don't believe the Auba indiscipline story. They like targeting Arsenal players. Look, I was at that position, Glenn. I was at that position, and I still remember many people really on this podcast really attacking me and saying, Cossy, you know what? You're protecting Aubameyang, a player with indiscipline and things like that. And I still remember my stance was, yes, he's done a problem, he's caused problems, but you cannot banish him. You can't do that. At least we need to be loyal as Arsenal Football Club and not just try to throw him under the bus. But what about the AFCON scenario? I think that's the big question, Glenn. What about the AFCON scenario? He's Gabon captain. Yes, he suffered from. I doubt he was kicked out because of the illness. I doubt he was kicked out because of the infection. I don't think. I really don't think. Right. But anyway, the story. I kind of believe it. I kind of believe it because it's now repeated. Right. I mean, when you become a repeated offender, it's so difficult to defend you. Honestly, you know that when you become a repeated offender, it's very, very difficult to defend you. But of course, Glenn, let me know your side of the story. I'd love to hear it. And what do you think the indisciplined part is actually not really appealing to you, and what is what exactly is your stand amidst all this? Because I really, really respect your opinion this as a content creator. But honestly, lads, my opinion there is with the Pierre Aubameyang is that for everything to get settled, he needs to go, right? Whether Vlahovic comes in, he doesn't come in, I do not care. He needs to go so that Arsenal and the dressing room do not get that kind of unnecessary distress that we do not need in the last 18 games coming up until May, and also so that we do not have another player really, really being affected, because these things really affect players, right? So Al Nassr been that bid. I think Arsenal should take it. 7 million. Anyone is going to say cost 7 million is small money, but I think what Arsenal looking at in this deal, it is not the transfer fee. It is a club that is willing to take the wages of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang off the books because they are really heavy. They are absolutely heavy. Right, so let me know down in the comments below. Make sure you smash that like button. I'm grateful if you do that, and of course, do follow me on Twitter. You'll find me at Cossy on Twitter, so make sure you do follow me there as well. So that is the situation around Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So Mikel Arteta has been speaking about Thomas Partey as well, and let's talk about Partey before we dive into whatever has been spoken about Vlahovic and Aurthur, Melo, and there's been so many couple of other players that are linked with Arsenal today. Mikel Arteta on Thomas Partey, this is what he said. It's a huge disappointment for Thomas, obviously, because he was representing his country, and in this period he had big aims towards the competition. He's out now, so he will be fully focused and involved with Arsenal as soon as possible. So Thomas Partey, lads, is back. Thomas Partey is coming back, not really back by. Partey is coming back, and I think this is one. This is one. This one scenario. This one situation where I think where someone spills their milk on the floor and then you're happy, right? Because look, unless you're Ghanaian. Unless you are, you love Ghana. I mean, you might not be Ghanaian, but you love the Ghana national team. And I think most of us really do because of Thomas Partey, don't we? It's just that kind of connection when a player plays for your team. You just love that nation. You just feel like you're obligated to give them a little bit of support. And I thought I was really giving Ghana that kind of that little kind of support. But it's always Arsenal first. We are hypocrites, aren't we? We are tribalists when it comes to that tiny thing called football. We are tribalists, and Arsenal always come first. So Partey, they crash out, picking up 1 point in the group stages, and losing to Comoros 3-2. Right, losing to Comoros 3-2. It's a story. I think it's a story to forget. Yeah, it's a story to forget for Ghana. It's a story to forget for Partey. I don't know how Africa are really gonna do it, because we've had AFCON in 2022. We're having our World Cup in 2022, and then in 2023 as well, because you remember AFCON is played in ODIs. It's not played in even years. It's played in ODIs, and of course we'll discuss much of that on 99 Sports. So make sure you do check out that channel as well. I've done a very beautiful video about whatever is happening around our clubs. But again, Partey is, has a chance. I mean, he's 28, so you have to feel for him. This is the time where his country believe he's ready to help them. But also as a player, it feels like this is the time for me to win something for and with Ghana, right? But I think he's got that little opportunity there. Of course, I don't expect them to do anything in the World Cup, even if they were favorites. But they do have that AFCON 2023. So maybe Ghana need to rethink, right? They just need to rethink. I mean, it was crash landing. It happens all the time when it happens. It happens all the time. People who work with the airport will tell you crash landing happens all the time. Right? It's not very good. So Partey is back. Very, very huge boost. And I think the big question now for Arsenal is, with Thomas Partey coming back, are we looking at a player that overshadows the incoming transfers, really? Or are we looking at Thomas Partey coming back, but then we still need another midfielder? In my opinion, I think Arsenal should keep pushing with whatever kind of agenda they're trying. Aurthur Melo should be coming in. Bruno Guimaraes, try to get him. Dennis Zakaria, try to get him. We need as much reinforcements as we can. Because look, Partey, whether he's in or out, you need numbers. You definitely need numbers in that midfield. We've already talked about the fact that the Spurs game was actually postponed due to an appeal by Arsenal. We say that. Arsenal said, please and please, we cannot continue with this game. Can you cancel it? Like, can you call it off? We can't go ahead with it. And I think it's the numbers. It's numbers. Emile Smith Rowe is out. Odegaard was out. Now we have this Xhaka stupid red card that is going to keep him out for around 3 games. And I think it's high time Xhaka leaves the club. Honestly, we've got to. I've already said that, and I will say that all the time until he leaves. So Partey coming back, it shouldn't impact our transfer strategy in any way. It shouldn't. We've done well in terms of outgoings. Ainsley out, Pablo Mari out, Seed Kolasinac out. Yes, we've done well, and I'll speak about those 3 at the end of this video. But honestly, Partey coming back, very, very huge boost. Very, very huge boost for Arsenal ahead of our coming fixtures. I think Burnley is coming up around there, Brentford, Wolves as well. So those fixtures that are not really easy. Wolves, they're phenomenal. They're absolutely phenomenal. They're really, really doing well. Brentford, yes, they've declined a little bit, but you can't. They're bees, and we've suffered the stink. We can't just recklessly go in there. So, Brentford, of course, and of course, we need to get our revenge, really, before they get relegated. We need to get our revenge. So we need to beat them hands down. And then Burnley, of course, despite the fact that they've lost Chris Wood, we know how stubborn they are. Right? We know how stubborn they are under Sean Dyche. So listen, lads. Thomas Partey coming back, confirmed by Mikel Arteta. But of course, we need more reinforcements in the midfield. Right. So let's dive into the transfers today. What is happening around the club in terms of our transfers? Where should we start? Let me start off with Aurthur Melo. Right, let's start off with Aurthur Melo, because with Aurthur Melo, there is nothing too twisted as with Vlahovic. There is nothing as twisted as with Vlahovic. Right. So this was reported around 2 hours ago from Jack Rosa, and he said that Juventus want Arsenal to take Aurthur Melo on an 18-month loan deal if a deal is to be struck. Actually, sorry, this is from Gazzetta dello Sport. It is not from Jack Rosa. Jack Rosa was reporting about the Nottingham Forest fullback, Jed Spence, that we actually we are interested in with Spurs. And of course, we'll talk about that later. But Gazzetta, I mean, how did I mix up the sources? Gazzetta saying that Juve want Arsenal to take Aurthur Melo on an 18-month loan deal if there is anything that's going to be struck between the two clubs. As it stands, Arthur's bags are already packed for London and is very excited about the prospect of joining Mikel Arteta's project. Interesting. Absolutely interesting. Right. So of course you can check out my my Twitter. I'm always posting these things there. I'm always retweeting, I'm always tweeting, I'm always replying, I'm always getting involved. So if you want to keep yourself really up to date with whatever kind of Arsenal news, then my Twitter handle Cossy, that is where you can you can always get me. Right. So let's talk about this, lads. Yesterday we talked about Aurthur Melo. It was the first time I came back on the internet and I told you whatever was happening around this deal. So today, Juve, of course, I said Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Those 3 days would be very crucial. It had been reported by Gianluca Di Marzio that those 3 days would be very crucial in this deal. Arsenal still speaking to Juve. I do not understand what Juve are trying to do. Honestly, I do not understand what they are trying to do. And I don't want to lie that I'm in a position where I can definitely say that this deal is off or on 100%. Listen, Juve, they've made themselves clear that this is going to be a clear out window, right? And among the players that they put out, on the market, Arthur's name is there, including it was Aurthur and Dejan Kulusevski. And actually, there was that time when Juve believed that Kulusevski and Aurthur would leave early in January so that they can actually get in a midfielder and also getting a striker. And the striker they are much interested in is Scamacca from Sassuolo. That was their initial stand. Now, they have said they do not want to let go of Aurthur Melo without a replacement. And now they're saying to let go of Aurthur Melo, it's got to be an 18-month loan deal. And also some sources suggesting that Arsenal might need or will have to put an obligation, will have to agree to an obligation to buy at the end of a loan deal. I think 18 months loan. I think if you hear that, I only think about Juve. They do that kind of crap. They've signed players like Locatelli, Chiesa. That is how they sign their players. That is how they do their deals. So I'm not really surprised when they talk about that. But what I don't understand with Juve is that why don't they come out and just say where they stand? Why don't they just come out and say it's either 18 months or an obligation to buy? They're really hiding under the blankets. They're talking to Zakaria, then they're talking to Bruno Guimaraes, and those deals are actually, they have not made any formal bids to sign those players, because I would have thought that with Zakaria, it's open. Go to Borussia Mönchengladbach and talk to them. If the player wants to join you, because look, Juve, however much they have had a rough season, I still believe they can make it to the Champions League in Italy, especially in the second round. I think Napoli, Juve, AC Milan, and Inter Milan. I think those are the four that will go to the Champions League. If I've not made a mistake in my anticipation, right? But I don't understand what you are trying to do. They've not made any progress towards getting in a replacement for the player, and they're still very, they're still very strongly, stating that if we do not get a replacement, then we cannot, let Aurthur Melo go. But they're not even trying. I doubt they're trying. They're not even trying. Are they trying to block them all? Because that is, for me, what I need Arsenal to realize. If this is a deal that is not doable, I personally, I've said this before, that this is a deal that I believed was very, very easy to do. Because they said they need players out. Aurthur Melo, Bentancur, Rabiot, Ramsey. Those were the names. So what is happening? What is happening with the old lady? I mean, Did they forget something? Because old age, that is what it creates. But anyway, today new reports coming in is that Arsenal, however much Arthur Melo's bags are packed and is ready for London, it looks like Juve will have to find a replacement. Arsenal need to agree to an 18-month loan, and also we might need to add an obligation to buy, which will be around 35 million euros. That is what Juve are looking at. So is it a good deal? Look, I think with initial loan deals, what you want is to study a player, get a kind of a gestation period to think. And I think if you want an obligation to buy, I doubt Arsenal are really going to agree to that. I doubt they're really going to agree to that. But I think what Juve should do is that they should include an option to buy, that if a player really does well at the end of 18 months or at the end of 6 months, then sign him. I feel like that is an easy way to go, unless if they do not want to let go. And if they do not want to let go, then we shouldn't be wasting much of our time on there. But anyway, that is what is coming out of Gazzetta dello Sport. And this is from this is from Ben Jacobs, CBS Sport. He said that that he's being told pretty categorically today from both Fiorentina and Arsenal sources that no official offer for Dusan Vlahovic has been accepted. Situation hasn't changed. Arsenal would love to sign the Serbian in January, and Fiorentina will hear offers now or even in the summer. But at the moment, nothing has been agreed. Now, I know you've been running around the internet today, and you've seen that story from Calcio Mercato that a bid had been agreed from Arsenal by Fiorentina. And that bid, let me just check it out. I did retweet about it. Okay. Of course, I'm also going to tell you about what Romano has actually put out very, very soon. So Calcio Mercato have been saying that 66 million euros plus add-ons, which would actually escalate the deal or raise the deal to around 80 million euros, had been a bid in that region had been accepted. However, that has been that has been written away, that has been trashed by Ben Jacobs. And I think with Ben Jacobs, I'm going to take his word over Calcio Mercato. Look, it's not that we need to trust Ben Jacobs more, because Calcio Mercato again, they're closer to they would be closer to the deal. But Ben Jacobs' information is pretty much consistent with Fabrizio Romano's, because this is Romano, and he says if Arsenal want to change the current situation, they need to do something crazy with the player and his agents. Fiorentina are open to talks, are open to start talks. In the summer, Vlahovic could be an option for many clubs. This is why Arsenal are pushing in January. And of course, just a little bit, he's also said something here 5 hours ago, and he said Arsenal are trying to sign Vlahovic since October, but Dusan is still planning to leave in the summer, not now. Nothing has changed yet. Really complicated negotiation on player and agent side. And also still Romano again on YouTube coming out and saying Arsenal pushing to sign Dusan Vlahovic since October. They want Vlahovic. They consider Vlahovic as the perfect player as their striker. Arsenal, I think he would be the perfect kind of football, the perfect kind of footballer. Arsenal, I think it would be the perfect kind of player. Sorry, depending on the kind of football Arsenal are playing. The project is very good. So I think why I decided to go with Ben Jacobs' information is that he's pretty much consistent with the with the heaviest source, which actually holds more water when it comes to transfers than any other source that we have ever looked at on the internet, and that is Fabrizio Romano. Right. So listen, lads. Let me just spend 5 seconds on this. 5 seconds. 5 more seconds. This deal, if it doesn't happen in January, it will never happen. And I've said yesterday, Arsenal should walk away. Let us keep our pride. Let us keep our pride. That's it. I'm not thinking about anything else. Top player, but there's so many top players that we have missed. Zlatan, the one of them, Benzema, Higuain. I mean, it's not the first time that we'll be missing. It's not the first time that we will be missing a top player. It's not the first time. It's frustrating. It's becoming ugly, and it's taking a lot of time for me. I think Arsenal need to walk away. I'll keep updating you because I know you people really want to know what's happening around this deal. I'll really keep updating you because that is what this channel is all about. But honestly, for me, I think Arsenal, with some little pride, walk away. Walk away. Absolutely. Walk away. Just walk away. So in the other news today, Pablo Mari, a loan deal to Udinese has been confirmed, and Mikel has been speaking about it. And he said he's been a professional player. He's not got the minutes this season. He's not got the minutes he wanted, or he deserved. I mean, ever since Romelu Lukaku bullied him, I don't think he deserved more minutes, but of course, Mikel's saying there that he's been absolutely professional, and he asked to leave to get more minutes, and there is no way you could block him. So Pablo Mari has finalized his move to Udinese as well. That makes 3 outgoing players. Yeah, 3 outgoing players. Ainsley has left for Roma. That much we've discussed in the earlier weeks of the January transfer window. Sid Kolasinac to Olympic Marseille, official as well. I'm not going to do a video about Sid Kolasinac and Pablo Mari. I'm telling you, honestly, I won't. But what you have to think about here is that Arsenal have let go of 3 players. Could we be expecting something huge? Maybe, right? We could be expecting something huge, and very, very soon, according to Chris Whitley, Arsenal are expected to announce the signing of Lino da Cruz Sousa very, very soon. So Chris Whitley is saying that Arsenal will be announcing the signing of 17-year-old defender Lino da Cruz Sousa. I'll do a video about this young lad. He's very, very exciting. Very, very, very exciting. As a 17-year-old defender, so I'll do a video about him. I hope he doesn't really, I hope you don't get the wrong picture. Cossy, why are you doing a video about a 17-year-old who's not actually going to be joining the first team straight away? Anyway, around the club today, lads, that is what is happening. I need to know how you lads are doing, and what are your thoughts here? Derek says watching from Kenya. Jenzaya says we need to go now 100% for Isak. We need a striker. Okay, let me speak about Isak as well. Real Sociedad have said they have no intention. And I'm really, really sorry to be an agent of doom and negative news. I'm very, very sorry, but nothing to do. I've got to keep you posted. So Real Sociedad do not even have any plans of letting Alexander Isak live in January. If anything like that is going to happen, Arsenal will need to trigger his release clause around £77 million, which is 90 million euros. Yeah, that is the latest around around Isak from Spain. I think Arsenal really in a very, very difficult situation there. Derek Otieno says watching from Kenya. Kalua, yeah. Martin says please update us on the midfield crisis, bro. So the midfield crisis at the moment, Partey is coming back. Mohamed El Neni should be coming back because AFCON is ending 9th February, isn't it? Yeah, 9th February. I think between 9th February and 10th there, that is when AFCON should be ending. And so Elneny, Partey, they are coming back very, very soon. And then Arthur Melo, Arsenal still struggling. Okay, not struggling, but striving. I mean, that's a better word. It's more positive. I just hate the negative words. Arsenal still striving to get Arthur Melo in January. It's not a deal that is going to happen just out of the blue. We are really, really struggling with Juve, who are being ridiculous for me. They're absolutely being ridiculous. But we need a midfielder. We definitely need a midfielder. And I know when you say, Cossy, speak about the midfield crisis, you've seen something about Yves Bissouma, so you want me to talk about it. So today, ESPN have come out and said that Arsenal and Football.London as well, I've said that Arsenal are considering going for Yves Bissouma. Brighton do not have any plans and thoughts of selling him in January, and it would cost around 50 million for any club interested now or even in the summer to sign him. Yesterday I was watching Mark Goldbridge, what very, very nice YouTuber, one of the best really in the game. And I think he was reacting to Joe McGinn being linked with Manchester United, and he was saying that he doesn't really like Joe McGinn. I like Joe McGinn. On the contrary, I feel like McGinn is athletic. He's kind of a bully, and I just like him. I just like him. But he was talking about Yves Bissouma, and he was saying that with Yves Bissouma, or Yves, I don't know how you pronounce the name. He's that kind of midfielder that he's reached that level. He's at that level. He's there. He's just ready for the next step. Ready to play for Arsenal, ready to play for United, ready to play for Liverpool. Even if you take him at Bayern, honestly, lads, if you rate Zakaria, then 100% you must be rating Yves Bissouma. My problem with Bissouma has never changed. I've always felt like when you place him next to Thomas Partey, you're getting less in terms of progressiveness, in terms of progressive ball carries and things like that. But is a very good midfielder, and that midfield duo between Partey and Bissouma would be phenomenal defensive-wise. It would be absolutely phenomenal, and I think Partey would be a little bit free to go a little bit in front. But Brighton, I think in terms of I've already spoken about the word and term loyalty. I think Brighton cannot let go of Yves Bissouma. They can't. They really can't. Because, look, the manager there, Graham Potter, has done a fantastic job for them this season. And how do you repay him? By selling his best midfielder? By selling the heart of the team in January? Is that really, some kind of appreciation? I think they can't do that. It's the same thing with Yuri Tillemans. I think these are transfer targets that are more realistic in the summer, and more realistic in the summer and less realistic in January. But midfield crisis really large. I think at the moment, Arthur Melo. I don't know why Arsenal have just put a pause to Jorginho Wijnaldum's deal. Look, if you're looking for a loan deal that is sensible, if you're looking for a sensible loan deal, Jorginho Wijnaldum, don't look past that. That guy is phenomenal. The boy is phenomenal. He's a bowler, press resistant. He's good. He's Premier League proven. He's played with Liverpool. He's won the Champions. He's won almost everything in the past 5 years. Go get him. Humbly, go get him. Arthur Melo cannot join Arsenal because of Juve. It's okay. Go to PSG. Get Jorginho Wijnaldum. You cannot regret. I'm 100% sure you cannot regret. I think it's one for the taking. Yeah, it's one for the taking. Definitely. Yeah, it's one for the taking. Arsenal should do that, really. But of course, let's talk more. What's going on with that? Spence and Vlahovic, Michael Alex says, what's going on with Vlahovic? Still very jumbled up. Yeah, still very, very, very jumbled up, Michael. Toby says, please, Arteta should make sure he gets us Vlahovic from Fiorentina. Watching you from Zambia, Africa. Thank you so much, Christopher. I'm absolutely happy when when you people are watching in from all over the world. Anu says, even if Partey is back, we still need another midfielder. Not people like Xhaka. I think. Thank you so much, Anu, for echoing. I don't know why we always think the same way, but I think people, honestly, if you think about it, I've always liked to compare Arsenal to to other teams, and there is no team around the top 10 at the moment where Xhaka plays, where Xhaka walks into their squad. Apart from, I think, Manchester United. I think it's United. United, and the reason that's why he walks into United is because their managers, from Solskjaer to Ralf Rangnick, are not choosing Donny van der Beek on a regular basis, and they're not choosing Pogba. I think Pogba is having, really, a lot of politics going around, him, and especially, the stubbornness of Mino Raiola. But Xhaka, if United decide to use Pogba and Donny van der Beek, or Matic and Donny van der Beek, or Pogba and Matic, then Xhaka doesn't move into their squad, doesn't move into Chelsea, doesn't walk into Liverpool, doesn't get into Spurs, because Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and whoever would play there, either, because I really rate Højbjerg. This season maybe he's not actually had, the best season, but of course, if you remember the Højbjerg they signed from Southampton then last season, you know how good he is. Then Ndombele, I still feel Ndombele is also a very, very good player, by the way. I don't know why at Spurs things are not really becoming that, that spicy. But Ndombele is a very, very good player as well. So Xhaka, I mean, are we lucky to keep him, or is he lucky that we've kept him? I'm not sure, but I'm still imagining Xhaka and Elneny have been in this club for half a decade and more, and they're still here. Yeah. But honestly, we need a new midfielder. We need someone. We need something different. I think Arsenal know this. However much they want to, pretend they don't know, they know. We need something better. We need something good, and we're not getting we're not getting that in Xhaka, a player whose maturity has failed to arrive up until now, and is just like a crybaby. But whenever something happens, I want to go back to Borussia Mönchengladbach. I want to go to Roma. I want to play for Jose Mourinho. I mean, that is what weak players with weak mentality do. So for me, Xhaka, I've never always felt like I wanted him when he was at Gladbach. I thought he was a very, very good player. He had a very, very good, and I think when he had just come in for the first season, I felt like there was room for him to improve and do better. But now, I think Xhaka is really off my books. Honestly, Xhaka is off my books. I can't lie more about it. Okay. Dusan is the main man. That's according to Alex. And he says, Musa says, give us an update around Dusan Vlahovic. I've talked about Vlahovic, and even Spence. All right. So let me give you an update around Spence, because I have that. But with Dusan Vlahovic, I've definitely given you all I have. But there is something about Spence, and I've been looking at that from Jack Rosa. So let's speak about Spence. Jack Rosa from the Standard. Just giving him a follow again now. Right. So Arsenal and Spurs are set to go. He's saying that Arsenal and Spurs are set to go head-to-head over a move for Nottingham Forest fullback Dejan Spence, or Jed Spence. Actually, not Dejan, but Jed, because it is DJED. So that is Jed, really. So Jed Spence. Borough are expected to demand up to 12 million for a deal. So that's the latest. No offers yet. Arsenal are interested. Spurs are interested. At the moment, there is nothing, advanced. Nothing. It's 12 million pounds. That is what is that is the according to the standards the standards Jack Rosa. He's saying that Arsenal will need to pay around 12 million euros, 12 million pounds, sorry, for the signature of the player. Okay. Joseph says, let's stop Dusan Vlahovic issue. The winter is so short. We need to search elsewhere. Look, I think this is a problem with Arsenal, and it is a problem for Arsenal. January is a difficult, it's a difficult month. We've spoken about that before. It's one of those months where players do not want to move, especially players that are having a spell like Vlahovic, right? I'm struggling to keep tabs with people who are saying Vlahovic is trashing Arsenal. Vlahovic is in a honeymoon period. No one wants their honeymoon period to end. He's scoring goals for fun at Fiorentina, in Italy, and he wants to continue that until the end of the season when the official big whistle is blown. That's it. I'm not believing anything else. I don't want to dive into. Look, his agent, I believe so, because there are rumors that they do have an agreement with Juve to join Juve in the summer for free, in the summer of 2023. So probably that's why you're seeing his agent asking for 10 million, because if he signs for a club for free, his agent can get 10 million in agent fees, and then Vlahovic can get 8 million euros in sign-on fees as well. And then they'll be able to negotiate for that kind of wage they want. And look, right from day one when we spoke about this deal, and I was reacting to his agent not picking up our calls, I said it. The reason as to why the agent will not pick up our calls, for me, is pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious. He wants this deal to run into a free deal so that he gets more money. It's not even in the interest of the player. All these excuses, they're thinking about the manager, they're thinking about the projects. It's crap. It's absolute crap. We know they are greedy. They're absolutely greedy. They want that 20 million euros, and they because this is the deal. If Arsenal pays 70 million euros to Fiorentina, then the agent and the player do not get as much sign-on fees because the contract is still on. But if the player's contract runs down, then they're going to get more money, like 20 million euros, 30 million euros, or even 40 million euros. We've had these, we know how the transfer market does run with free agents. They say, oh, we signed him on a free. It's not a free. You've given him some 12 million. You've given him some 25 million euros. I sign on fees. It's not free. There is nothing like a free agent in football. Nothing. Players and agents want their contracts to run down so that they can actually maximize the situation. As simple as that. Okay, Aaron says, at the end of the day, Arsenal will not sign Dusan Vlahovic. I don't like to waste my precious time for a player who will not actually sign. Okay. Captain Nemo says, the sad thing about Vlahovic is that with some bad results and season since 2-3 years to nowadays, we are not mentioned as top club as many years, and it is hard to convince people like Dusan. Look, maybe that's an issue as well. Maybe that is an issue as well. But what I do not understand, really, listen, Lautaro Martinez is a top player, 100% for me, clear of Dusan Vlahovic at the moment, because he's performed consistently at a top level. He's won the Scudetto with Inter Milan, and he is in his peak, tested and well tested as a player. Arsenal wanted to get him in the summer, And according to Romano, the player didn't believe in the project. He was not appealed. The project didn't appeal to him. And according to Romano, Arsenal walked away out of that deal because the player was not willing. What is happening with Dusan Vlahovic? Why don't we walk away? I mean, I don't get it. Honestly, I don't get it. Vlahovic is Vlahovic a done deal? Yes or no? No. Really no. Right, the lights. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I'll speak to you very, very soon as we react to Mikel Arteta's press conference, and of course we'll dive into our game ahead of Liverpool. Very, very. It's been a long time ever since we've done a preview, so we should have one today. Goodbye.